followed this morning's film with one I had been meaning to watch since I found a copy of it earlier this year, and this is Frank Borzage's 1928 film, The River. So The River is missing pieces of it. It's missing the opening reel, a reel in the middle, and the reel at the end. So it's supposed to be about 85 minutes long, and the reconstruction is 54 minutes long. So it's missing 3 reels. The reconstruction that is available was put together by the Munich Film Museum in collaborations with the Cinémathèque Française, the Cinémathèque Suisse, and the Cinémathèque of Luxembourg. So lots of people putting it together. They reconstructed it with still photographs. Luckily, in silent era, there were like tons of photographs taken during the making of films. So a lot of these films that are missing reels, they can kind of reconstruct with photos, which is nice. I've seen several like this. And Borzage's script notes. So it's unfortunate. However, what's missing is basically the plot with the like heavy in the movie, and it seems kind of ridiculous. And the rest of the film is this beautiful love story, and so it actually is almost better missing those reels because it ends up condensing the love story and making it pretty much the whole plot. It's kind of a preposterous love story, to be honest. So Mary Duncan and Charles Farrell are the stars. They were also stars in Murnau's Four Devils, which is a completely lost film, and Mary Duncan is the last person to have checked out a copy of it from the Fox Library in the 40s, and then it never got returned, and who the fuck knows? She has a niece. Someone tracked down Mary Duncan's niece and see if she still has Four Devils, so we can all watch it. And City Girl, which is a beautiful film, and if you have not seen City Girl, you should watch that. And Charles Farrell obviously had worked with Borzage on multiple occasions opposite Janet Gaynor in Seventh Heaven, Street Angel, and Lucky Star. Bunch of beautiful films. Charles Farrell has a terrible speaking voice, so if you ever watch any of his early talkies with Janet Gaynor, they're terrible. And they're not terrible because they're great, but his voice is so bad. So watch his silent films. So in this, Mary Duncan is the mistress of this guy who's in the missing reels, and he has gone to prison for killing somebody else over her. So she is sort of waiting for him in this shack in the woods by the river. She's not very happy. She has this creepy-ass crow that's watching her every moves. And then suddenly this super naked guy just floats into the river across from her, and she's just like, what? Super naked guy being Charles Farrell, and he is super naked. They cut, he pulls up just fast enough and slow enough that you don't quite see his package, but, he's naked. And he's, a teenager, he's an innocent, he doesn't know from women, and she keeps trying to seduce him, and that's pretty much the movie. And then he's a good guy, so he wants to marry her, and she's, a bad woman, so she's like, no, go away. And in true alpha male form, he's like, I'll chop down all of the trees and then you'll love me, but it's the fucking middle of winter, so he almost freezes to death, and that's basically the movie. It's Borzage, so if you're familiar with Borzage, it has a happy ending. He does not freeze to death chopping down all of the forest for her, but you at the same time you just want to smack him upside the head and be like, don't do that. It's a very Borzage film. I think he's maybe my favorite of the romantic directors from the silent and old Hollywood era. Pretty much all of his films are hopelessly romantic, and I love them. The only one that really doesn't work is Lilium, which is it's been adapted many times. It's the basis for, the original play is the basis for Carousel. So if you've seen that, you've basically seen Lilium, and the plot is preposterous and awful and horrible, and that's the only Borzage that doesn't work for me. It's beautiful because it's Borzage, but that story is just horrible. So if you can track down a copy of this restoration, it's available through means and ways, for Borzage's 1928 film, The River. I recommend it. It's beautiful. Charles Farrell's hair is in peak fluffiness. And he doesn't speak, so you just get to look at his pretty face. And Mary Duncan does some really great eye rolling, like A plus eye rolling. Basically, this is a great late era silent film, and I love late era silent films. They're so lush and beautiful and romantic, and this is as good as you're gonna get. So you should actually just watch every Charles Farrell silent film that you can get your hands on, because he's great. But let me know when you finally watch a talkie, and then we can talk about his horrific voice. So this was Frank Borzage's The River from 1928, and I loved it.